You sit and you listen to this General Jack Keane, former Army Vice Chief of Staff, right? And they had me, Colonel Custer in Sierra Vista back in 2006. And so this guy's retired, but back then he was probably say, oh, playmate, won't you come play with me and bring your dollies three? Just slide down my rain barrel into my cellar door, and we'll be jolly friends forevermore. He was probably active when I said, yeah, I get it from you guys in the military. I have no discipline. You'll kill people for money, and I won't, and I have no discipline. I stand up. I broke 5 federal laws in 2 minutes trying to protect a woman from being turned into sexual property by the jobs of retired General Jack Keane, former senior strategic analysis. He's a strategic analysis and former staff, whatever thing he is, right? And so when you listen to this man talk, okay, it puts a lot of people into PTSD. This is what MacArthur did with the Japanese, okay? And it was horrible what they did. They economically starved these people and then put them into impoverished conditions and had people fighting in the streets through their political rivals and doing genocide operations. The same thing that happened with the Jews, with the Germans during the pay for World War II. Right? Okay, so this is the same playbook that they did back in the day when we were fucked and we're still fucking, but they didn't have satellite surveillance and artificial general intelligence and quantum computing back in Douglas MacArthur's day, but they do in Jimmy Jack Keane and crack corn, and he don't care. And look at that. That's I forgot the dumbass's name. Wiz Buckley. What was Wiz's first name, yo? I don't know. He all smiling. And he's saying, well, there'll still be some guys that will do like that whole thing with the Twin Towers. They'll try to get in a plane and try to come and kamikaze our ships. But we've got they're feeling lucky. We got Mr. Lucky Strikes cigarettes to shoot down any kamikazes, so they won't get through this time. This time will be different, and we won't have a Henry Fonda movie from it. And that's what their thing is. They're obviously so arrogant. No, this time, kamikazes come in. Mr. Lucky Strikes cigarettes will shoot them all down. We've got the best technology in the history of mass murder to get people to kill their own people, to decrease the surplus population through voluntary genocide for future oil economies. And so why are we still doing the oil economy stuff? To target and kill people that are archaic, because it's probably some kind of a science project, and they use charismatic leaders that they can program like they're programming a video game. And they're too smart to be programmed like a video game by people that are trying to get them to do what they want them to do, to decrease the surplus population till they get everything just right, and then it's time to live the Lord's Prayer according to insane socio-psychopaths, because Ming the Merciless is going to take planet Earth and go out through the world trying to find the best planet, be Yogi Bear, and they're looking for the perfect place and how to stop pollution by going in the air of a big bike and stopping the big pollution thing. The crazy shit that not much has changed in the last since the Yogi Bear cartoons when you were a kid. Looking for the perfect place. They're looking for the perfect place. When you're humble and you're wise and you have faith in greater than yourself and don't try to contain greater than yourself right here, okay, you're being a perfect person, and the perfect place you seek can never exist in here when you're not humble, right? 0 ships have broken through blockade. Yeah, it's archaic and it's insane. It's like watching it's like watching Pete and Repeat try to do the old Douglas MacArthur. Yeah, you need a corncob pipe. Remember when they did that one on MASH? That shit was funny, right? Had a radar pretending to be MacArthur, and then MacArthur really comes through, and Klinger is dressed up like the Statue of Liberty, and MacArthur salutes him. Shit, that one was funny, right? That was a funny episode. Oh my gosh, yeah, that was funny. I grew up on that shit, and I used to just laugh my ass off. And then old Frank Chavez, I would sit there and watch MASH at the Chavez's house, and he would sit there and say in front of me that I wasn't astute or intelligent enough to get the social satire because my dad was a plumber. And I've told this story a number of times. I never said it to him. I wanted to. Me and my dad used to watch William F. Buckley Strom Thurmond debates. And it was before I went to go see the Chavez's. So I was probably like about 8 years old. And I would sit there and I told Dad, I said, Dad, this is not even a contest. This Buckley fellow is kicking this Strom Thurmond guy sideways. It's not even, it's abusive, right? And Dad goes, yeah, you would think that, but the 13 people that he hangs out with in Connecticut, because he's not a politician, he's an elitist, okay? Him and the 13 people are going, oh, William's kicking Strom Thurmond's ass. And they all know that intellectually he's kicking his ass. But because Strom Thurmond's saying all the right things for all his constituents that vote him into office down in the South, all the people in the South that vote for Strom Thurmond think Strom Thurmond's kicking William F. Buckley's ass sideways. You got to be kidding. No. Okay, but everything that Strom Thurmond says is based off of fallacy, has no applications, but can easily manipulate people that believe money is real and Jesus is the Norman Greenbaum's friend in Jesus in the sky after they die. Right, and William F. Buckley knows that's not so, but then they make it like, oh, okay, so they've been doing this, the computer that thinks faster than you, run by a Jewish scientist or a Catholic scientist or a Hindu scientist, can take over the daily operations of your life and create a whole new religion. And like George said from reading the books at the library, that lots of the books from intellectuals that are superior to most of us, because we don't have books published because we're not influencers, say that genocide is an acceptable form of population control. And the two top circulated books in the entire world are the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran. And every time they justify mass genocide, they say it's God's plan. There is no plan. God neither a possessive pronoun nor a first person be. God's omniscient, omnipotent. God is the essence of your life, and you eternally live through honoring holy covenants and honoring the natural laws provided by infinite glory to have an eternal life through worship of God, through faithful love of one another, through honoring holy covenants. Okay, that's physics. And I explain it better than Stephen Hawking, Albert Einstein, and Richard Feynman all put together. Now, they might have, I don't know. I don't know. A lot of the things, Einstein probably could have. I don't know, though. I think they had brain damage. The way they talk and the way they've made psychotic breaks and they go live in John Nashville. Nashville? John Nashville. Standing right next to String Bean on the sidewalk with a pistol in one hand and a pair of scissors in the other. And the constable comes up and says, String Bean, what are you doing? I can't make up my mind to shoot down the alley or cut across the street, right? And John Nash says, money's real, and here's how we keep it to make blockades and replicate World War II in the South Pacific and the Middle East. Oh, because the Bible tells you so. Did you write the book of love, and do you have faith in God above if the Bible tells you so? And everyone, I was listening to Sam Cooke today, says, it's as sure as I know there's a heaven up above. It's like, it never says that. No, it never says that heaven. Jesus says, as it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. He's not our Father who art in heaven. He doesn't say heaven is up above. He says our Father is living not the ways of the Roman Empire and living the faith of Father Abraham in the future. That's what he says. Our Father who art in heaven. Heaven is heaven. Big Bang Theory. We don't believe in afterlives, magic afterlives. Heaven is, we believe past, present, and future operate at the same time. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. So heaven is a place in the future that the Lord is living in because the Lord is right and they're wrong. Oh, Richard Feynman can't explain this stuff. Here's some Romulan L. All right. And here's one for my homies. Okay. Do you understand? Evil. How evil. Wow. No, the technology is getting better. Now, if I'm correcting Asian technology and then I'm getting feedback from Asian technology, then I love Sen and Tetsuro Suzuki too, don't you? Do not run for governor of New Mexico. Run away from governor of Mexico. If they give you money and say run for governor of New Mexico, it's like, wait a minute, did you see what happened to the guy that ran for governor of California? Yeah. Now do as you're told. Well, I want to be a sacrificial lamb. You're not. You're a man. Hi. I happen to be a man. Okay. Be a gracious good shepherd. Strong winds and harsh freeze expected across northern New Mexico. Okay. Wow. Oh, yeah, because we're going to get some cool in northern New Mexico. Yeah, okay. Okay. No, I like northern New Mexico a lot. I lived in Santa Fe for 9 months, and I just adored the weather and stuff. I adored the locals. The wackadoodles that had a Rodeo Drive throw up on the plaza. I was like, what the fuck are they doing? And Taos is worse. I went to Taos as a kid. We used to make pilgrimages, okay? When I was a kid. That's what kind of New Mexicans my family, my mom and dad were, especially mom. And mom would get dad, and dad loved it because he liked it too. We went to see I remember, it's weird. Other kids, when they visit sites and stuff, and I'm the Messiah. So like when we went to the Cliff Dwellings in Gila, I could feel the horrible things that happened there and felt, oh gosh, and I didn't want to go down into the bottom things. No, bad things happened there and I don't want to feel it. It's like Carl's cell and shit. No, make it stop, right? And so I was like, oh no, this is horrible. It's like I told people about encloisterment in the Middle East. It's like, okay, but what if you're the problem? That's the whole thing. And so, and that's the way it was in Kivas. And those, they did that to get away from people, but they also did it to keep people in and to keep in charge, and to get other people fought them because they were rival sex cult gangs and they had different modus operandi. Like Democrats and Republicans. There you go. And so make the women make themselves available for sexual exploitation, stuff like that. Heidi Fleiss, Ghislaine Maxwell. Women are victims and men are perps. Okay. He's the head of the bank and she's the neck, right? Do you understand? Okay. Forgive debt and trespass, love, all eternal, faithful peace. Wow! All this sexual improprieties. If you want to go do it, but you're not going to be able to be in a faithful relationship because faithful people won't trust you. And like Tupac Shakur said, trust is priceless. And when you lose it, you lose everything that has value, right? It's kind of what he said, but he's right. He talked to me in prayer. We talked occasionally. Not a lot, but enough. Well, I really like Tupac Shakur a lot, yeah. No, I talked to him in prayer. And Keith Elam, I talked more with Keith. I wanted to have more conversations because I really like him. Maybe in the future I might. I don't know. I can't tell you. I think it'd be different. I think this time would be different. Maybe, better yet, I would rather meet Keith's son and Justin, his king, his nephew, who he adores as much as his own son. And his own son should understand that. Okay? That, and like Steve Biko, said, we don't have aunts and uncles, and we don't separate our family. And, that's my sister's brother. So that's like, like I, with Luz Elena Fuentes, just like, if what was her, I can't remember her name. Alf fail. Alf, she couldn't say ours. I'm like, you speak Spanish, you poor little cutie. Right? She's Alf's fail. She called me Alf. She'd always say Alf's fail. And I would laugh so hard. And she was being mean. And I was like, it's so cute. Alf is fail. And I was like, they were like, and you like this little kid? Yeah. Well, I knew I was better looking than her father, and I knew her mom was her sister's twin, right? And I was an American citizen that was going to college, and so I had a job at a Fortune 500 company and as an expat and stuff. And stood up to all the gangbangers that came and ripped off single mothers while he hid because he didn't want lose Elena to be taken away by Border Patrol and back to Mexico because she didn't have documentation. His wife did, and his daughter, of course, but he did, but she didn't. So, and he liked having them both. So he'd hide in there, in order to keep having sex with both women. And then when, I was offering Elena a way out, and the other girl got mad, it's like, that's not fair. Yeah. I think, oh shit. Oh gosh, damn, Olga. Oh fuck. This Jennifer Lopez lady, she's different. She sat I'm on Kunyuki's bed and all this stuff. See, she's out. Yeah, and we had to stay, and we told him you don't have to have the bath. You can take a bath in there without having the door open. No, you do it out of respect to. No, we told him, we were telling her all this stuff. He threatened to deport her. That's why she went to the language group and came back with the shithead, and he was going to deport her to Mexico. Ah, damn. She wasn't as bad of a kid as I thought she was, and she wasn't as bigoted. She thought I was in over my head. They didn't know lots of people did. Edna did the same thing with me. What is it with Mexican women? You Latin women. Or you can't have... I can't. Seriously? You think I'm in over my head? You don't think Rubio's in and over his? You don't think XI's in over his head? You think I'm in over mine? My life's in the book of Revelation. I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. Okay? I took on WIC Communications in Cochise County all by myself and got the entire fort reassigned because they couldn't get me to do what they wanted me to do because I wasn't going to do it because it wasn't right, because manipulated relationships don't work. And you got to protect children from being manipulated by perverts through virtual presence, through surveillance industries. And I'm in over my head. You can take me to paradise, but then again, you can be as cold as ice. I'm over my head. Over my head, and it sure feels nice, right? Old Max Afterburner. U.S. military just sent Iran's mullahs into full panic mode. You're mass murdering over replicating a script that was used by a mass murderer who was a complete whack job named Constantine and had the Bible translated, written down by a complete whack job named Jerome. And we have tons of documentation to prove that they were both insane, genocidal socio-psychopaths like Adolf Hitler, Chiang Kai-shek, Mao Zedong, you name it, we got it. I'm going to have 5,000 people killed with me to escort me and protect me and serve me in heaven in the sky. And that's what the Egyptians would do. That's what those crazy wackadoodles on the army with the big, sculpted, the come-to-life armies to keep all their legacy safe. And thank you, Mr. Moto. That's insane. That's delusional, paranoid schizophrenia on biological and psychological conditioning over tens of thousands of years. Excise this lunatic. Donald Trump is walking in the Barack Obama is nothing like RFK's Junior's daddy and uncle. Okay? And RFK, they did some horrible things to that man. He does not function that well. We don't talk. His brain is inoperable. He has really bad brain injuries. He's almost incoherent. He's hard to talk to. Like Joe Biden. And it's like, what? Me and Trump don't talk. Trump don't talk to me. He's advised to his advisors. Oh, did you got one of the Magneto helmets, man? I wonder when he sleeps. Hey, Donald, do you wear or do you have like a plastic bubble you sleep in? Like John Travolta on the Plastic Boy in the Plastic Bubble thing? That's not funny. That's about a kid that had a very bad, he had a very inefficient immune system because of genetics. Lots of Habsburgs, Romanovs, people that try to avoid doing things that, quote, get you sick, that you need to do. I understand washing your hands after you go to the bathroom, but when you have to get up and do the work that's got to be done, you got to change the diapers, wash your hands, change the diapers. But, you might get a little bit sick, but when you're doing things out of love, it's all in intent. And it's like the trees and the rocks could speak, they would say it too. That everything and every living organism stuff on the planet, that's why I tell the trees, that's why I tell animals, I'm working on this. We'll be living the Lord's Prayer. It'll be better to be an animal, and you won't have to be on a stupid George Orwell movie, mouthing, pretending you're a pig and ain't them pigs' real voices to pay your bills, because you won't stand up for a living Messiah because you're a psychotic, Darwinist asshole. No, George Orwell, no. I remember watching it and think, oh, because there's a lot of good social satire in this. No, not really, no. It's like Dan Brown. It's just to make money, Earl. Okay, Jesus, thanks. It's like Asimov. No, it's just to make money and feel important and offer no solutions to insanity, to perpetuate insanity as if it's always going to keep going on. How long? God damn, we're losing our bass player to another group. You don't have to pay bills, so does it really matter? AI can pay the bass for you, like Paul Chambers. Yeah. So I could just program it on a computer and then you can take the world's greatest musicians, program the music in, whatever music you want, boom, and then put it on and then come on here and then go do 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 boom 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 do 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 boom. I was born in Saginaw, Michigan. I grew up in a house in Saginaw Bay. My daddy was a poor, hard-working Saginaw fisherman. Too many times he came home with too little pay. I loved a girl, he loved a girl in Saginaw, Michigan. Saginaw, Michigan. I'm just being silly, right? Because I don't have AI. I don't have Gemini fix my shit. I don't have, wasn't there that? IBM watching this shit. Right? So I ain't got none of that stuff. They don't allow that stuff around me. I'm very patient. I don't have money and I don't make my dad uncomfortable with money. And Suzuki keeps me focused all the time. You focus. You living embodiment of Lord's Prayer. Okay. You don't think about what to do with money, where to do with money, whatever. Focus. And you tell other people. And if other people listen in military, in NASA, they safe from their own invention. But if they don't listen and try to invade your head and say, you're going to need money to be safe in the fucking and fighting over money in the presently evolving future, then I don't see George Orwell's and Isaac Asimov's world working out with, it's just giving you the same script over and over again so you can reinvent it every 5 to 10 years, whether you need to or not. Right? How George Herbert Walker Bush of your Saddam Hussein. Right? Remember that? The guy's talking about, they called him Saddam instead of, Saddam. And it's like, yeah, he was being obnoxious. Yeah, because he could, because it made him look tough. Yeah, a home invading, pervert, mass murderer trying to stand up and look as tough, not as tough, as strong and faithful as Saladin, King David, and me. Right? Well, he sounds like a wimpy John Wayne. Mom always goes, Mr. Rogers with John Wayne. That's George Herbert Walker Bush. Yeah, just sit there and, won't you be my labor? Now, try to take won't you be my neighbor and try to sound like John Wayne. I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to hit you. Like hell I'm not. Okay, that's George Herbert Walker Bush, the head of the CIA, right? It's kind of like the ref from 2014. The call in the field stands. It's like, you could say like, you could say it like, we're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. You know what I mean? You could, calling on the field stands. It's like, maybe he's a techno geek ref. Maybe so. But most refs, I think they've said, the call on the field stands. Okay. Thank you for calling Southwest Airlines. You're welcome. Okay, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just being facetious. I'm just pissing people off because, they get emotional and there's little things in the programs that are, if they get emotional, they're supposed to remain Spock-like. And I just get going, and it's like, what? And he's getting all mad. He's saying I'm a pervert, and I home invade, and I talk like the ref on the 2014. Do you? I can give you voice lessons. Okay. People don't listen to a Chihuahua because it's really high register, and they just ignore it. Okay, but if you German Shepherd, get your wolf on. Okay, ready? Wolf. Bow wow. Okay, come on. More from the Bill Madley thing. Okay. Girl, I can't let you do this. Get deeper. Okay. Let you walk away. Girl, how can I? You're my soul and my high. Come on, Wiz Buckley. You a Top Gun. We had a love you can't find every day, right? So don't, baby. Okay, you get to be a Hatley. Okay, I'll be a Bill Medley. Because I'm talking to girls like that. That's the Susanna bedroom voice he's talking about. Come on, honey, let's go make some noise. Come on, baby, let's go. Come on now, baby, come on. Can you woo woo woo? Can you woo woo woo? You should be mine, oh mine, in the height of your worry when it's running too deep for you. When it all runs too deep, I'll pull you through like a bridge over troubled water. Now I ain't gonna sell you drugs. You don't have to wake up in the morning and go to the corner. You live in the Lord's Prayer. Monday, Tuesday, and always. Even the afternoon, yeah. Nights in white satin, never reaching the end. Don't look at it that way. Just look at it as make a beautiful choice, live a beautiful life, choose to be faithful. Because being unfaithful is selfish and sucks, right? Just look at it that way. Just simplify it, real easy. Right? Like that. Alberto Bergarotti. Just see the pretty flower with the water on it. Take a picture of it and then become a rich man. If I was a rich man. Money's not real. What's wealth? Psalms and Proverbs? Hallelujah, brother. Still waters run deep. Okay, I love you guys, man. I will talk to you later. I will probably talk tomorrow. I think I'm gonna call it a night after this one. All right, I gotta watch the other one and then tie you to the railroad tracks. And then you better give me the deed to your ranch. I'm joking. Okay, guys, I love you. All right, peace out.